Hey everyone, my name is Jack. Welcome back to the channel. I cover a variety of topics as they relate to real estate, investing, the markets, and pretty much everything as it has to do with personal finance. So if you like that sort of content, be sure to have a look around the channel, and if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. But today I want to do a little bit of a different video and talking about the importance of giving back. Given the situation with 2020 and how bad things have been for many people, it's very easy to fall into this trap of believing that your life is way worse than anyone's and that nothing could get worse and that everything is terrible. It's very easy to fall into that trap of thinking and taking many things for granted in the meantime. But if you're watching this video, you somehow have access to the internet, which is already much better than many millions, if not billions of people throughout the world. Because the unfortunate reality is there are billions of people in the world who do not have access to very basic services that we would consider in the United States. They may not have access to clean running water. They might not have access to safe shelter and all sorts of the things that we take for granted here in the US. Now, I'm not trying to belittle the fact that there are people who are suffering in the US as well. People suffer all throughout the world. It's a tragedy, and one of the great things that humans as a species have always tried to move away from and try to solve as a society. This is obviously way easier said than done, and it's taken thousands of years of human innovation to get us to the point where we are today, where we still have a large number of people in extreme poverty. But thankfully, every single year, we're making progress towards lifting people out of extreme poverty and getting them to a much higher standard of living than they would have had just a few decades prior. But there's still so much work to be done, and that's why giving back is so important, even if you don't think that you're well equipped to give that much back. And even if you don't have a lot of money, donating your time is another great way to give back to your community or other communities. And there are all sorts of charities out there that you can get involved with, that you can donate to, that are doing a lot of great work for a ton of different causes. There are so many things that humans are trying to make better and trying to get rid of problems. There's so many things that you can donate to, your time and your money. And some of you might even have your own charity that you contribute all of your time and energy to, and that's a great thing as well. You don't have to use someone else's charity if you can just start your own if it's for a cause that you really care about. So there's really no limit to the amount of things that you can help out with in at least some way. Now I want to talk in much greater detail about a nonprofit that I donate to, and that's through Kiva. You may have heard of them before. They're a large facilitator of microloans for people who might otherwise be completely unable to get access to credit and the money they need to do their projects. You might think, wait a second, I thought we were talking about charities here. This is just a lender? Well, not exactly. They are really a charity that focuses on lending with very low cost and no interest loans to people, again, who otherwise would be unable to get credit. Because unfortunately, many places throughout the world simply do not have access to high quality banking and the ability to actually take out money to do projects. While it might be relatively easy to get a 30-year mortgage to buy a house or even build a house in the United States, that can be nearly impossible in other areas throughout the world. Many areas of the world simply just do not have the capital infrastructure to do that at this point. The next best thing is through a charity like Kiva and the partners that they work with to facilitate loans to people. Now, Kiva's loans range from about $1,000 to $20,000, typically are under about $10,000, and they're for a wide variety of projects that people want to do. A person who might not have access to a bank or a bank that would be willing to lend to them might turn to something like Kiva or their partners to actually get the loan to do the project that they need to do or want to do to actually advance up the socioeconomic ladder. But even though they might not have money, these people do have some useful skill or determination to take care of some business that they're trying to run, so it's not as though they're loaning to nothing. This is a loan to someone who has a goal in mind and has a specific thing that they want to get done. And again, this is for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to get credit, so it's filling a very important need in the underdeveloped world. And you don't make any interest on the loans you give on Kiva. In fact, Kiva actually asks for donations since they give out all of their loans at a loss because of fees and foreign transaction costs. So they're actually facilitating these loans at a loss. So this is not a profit-motivated activity. But despite these borrower situations, the repayment rate on these loans is actually very high. We're looking at something like 95% of their loans that get paid back. And that's been the case for me on Kiva as well. I've probably made about 10 or so loans over the 2 years that I've been on the platform. And so far, they've all paid it back, or at least in the middle of paying it back, since these loans are typically about 1 to 2 years in length. And you can get started with as little as $25. For example, my very first loan was to a person very unironically named Loan, or it might be Loan. I'm not sure how to say it. It's a Vietnamese name. She's from Vietnam. She actually needed about $1,200 to build a toilet. That's right. She did not even have access to a toilet before she got this loan. This was the first reality check for me when I realized realized how so many people throughout the world just live compared to here in the US, where running water is everywhere in public spaces and in private spaces. There really isn't this issue. However, people like Loan here, or Loan, again, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, but she didn't have a toilet before this, so she needed this loan to actually build it. Sure enough, she got the loan, built the toilet, and then paid the loan back over the next year and successfully paid everything back. And now her hygienic situation is so much better. Not only does this make things more clean and safe for her and her family, I'm sure it saves a lot of time as well and not having to move elsewhere to do your business. You have a toilet ready to go. It's kind of hard to conceptualize as someone from a developed country like the US. We just take so many things for granted, and something like Kiva helps people to actually get access to these things. Now, as I mentioned, I've done a number of other loans, and I typically like to do things about housing. Being a real estate guy myself, I love the fact that you can help people build their homes or build or even upgrade their rental property if they have any, or are trying to get into the rental business even in other countries. But often I do lend to people who are trying to build a house, and they buy their own building materials and are often building the house themselves. So it's really great to be able to contribute to that. So for example, Elsa here in Ecuador took out $1,500 to rehab 2 apartment units so that she could rent them out because her retirement income was being basically sacrificed because of the pandemic. So it was very inconsistent and she needed to find ways to actually start making money again. So she is actually building out 2 apartment units to rent them out to supplement her own income. I gotta love that gumption. She's retirement age, but she's still finding a way to make it work. Kiva is helping her to do that. I really love being a part of that. And you don't have to loan to housing or healthcare. You can loan to energy. People who put solar panels on their homes in places where they might have very inconsistent access to power. There are all sorts of great categories you can choose from, and it's no wonder that there's such a high demand for this service that 3.8 million people have borrowed loans on Kiva. But I think the end result with using Kiva is the best part of it, and that's the fact that the person gets total ownership over the thing that they wanted to build or create using the loan. This is a little different than, say, giving someone money and just telling them to go use it how they see fit. In this case, the person has a very specific objective in mind. They get the loan. They're very motivated to make sure that everything works out. It has to be something that they really want done and they know, or at least think, will actually work and will be worth their cost and time and energy in actually taking out the loan. But once they pay it back, they have total emotional and physical ownership over the thing, and they're in a better position. It's such a really cool end result that's really unique to something like Kiva. But the second best part is that you actually get the money back once they pay the loan back, and you can use it again to fund another project. So you get to really see the money multiply and get to see it circulate many different times. So it's as though you're donating $1, but it could really be like an infinite number of dollars as it keeps getting paid back and you keep circling it into a new loan. So it's really cool to see how much impact your money can have over time. You could almost call it the compound interest of your charity dollar, in that you're using it to help one person at first, they pay you back, and then you go and help another person, they pay you back, and so on. It's really cool to just see that happen as you build your Kiva portfolio. I've been slowly putting money in each month, and I plan on definitely ramping that up in the coming years. And if you actually want to join Kiva, or at least check them out, I started a team on the platform so that you can actually join the Jack Duffley team, and we can actually see who we're all lending to. We can see how much impact we can have as a YouTube community. It's totally free to set up an account. You don't have to actually donate anything, but typically the minimum loan is $25. So if you want to get started, you're probably looking at about $25. But again, if the person pays the loan back, you could use that money again for yourself and take it off the platform. You don't get any tax advantage from actually loaning the money, but if you make donations on top of that, you could probably deduct that. So it's really great for all sorts of different people, and that you can donate to the platform if you don't want to loan, or you can loan and then you can do what I've been doing, and that's recirculating it into new loans once things get paid back. But if you check out the link in the description, you can join my team and we can see how much impact we can have on Kiva through lending to people who really need it the most. But anyways, that's all I've got for today. I hope this was a helpful video for getting some new perspective on giving back and this new way that people can give back through something like Kiva. I hope you at least consider checking them out since they are a cool platform, but at the very least, I just hope you consider giving back to something that you care about in this coming month, and hopefully keep doing it forever after. Otherwise, if you like this video, definitely give it a like since it helps the channel out a lot, and be sure to subscribe since I put out new videos every single week about real estate, personal finance, investing, all that great stuff. And you can check out my other links in the description for free stocks from Webull and Robinhood. If you open up accounts there, they'll give you some free stocks. I'll get some free stocks as well, so it's a win-win. And if you don't actually like the platform, you could just close your accounts and keep your stocks or sell them off, whatever you want to do with them. Or maybe you can sell the stocks and then lend the proceeds on Kiva. But until next time, take care.